is WFTV Tonight.
The Supreme Court ruling comes amidst the latest spike in COVID cases as Florida continues setting unwanted records. Good evening, I'm Greg Warmoth.
And I'm Martha Sagowski. On Tuesday, the most recent day where case totals are available, Florida reported almost 72,000 new positive COVID tests. 1 week ago, we saw over 76,000 new cases, but the record was set just this past Saturday when there were more than 77,000 new cases worldwide. More than 5.5 million people have died from COVID. 846,000 of them are Americans. However, almost 63% of the U.S. is fully vaccinated. Now back to those two Supreme Court decisions. They are clearing up which Florida workers will be subject to vaccine mandates and which ones won't. Nick Pepitonis live for us in Orlando tonight. And hey, Nick, for most people who don't want a vaccine, today was a good day.
Yeah, the broader of the two rulings that required a lot of companies to implement mandates for their workers is now dead. However, doctors, nurses, other hospital workers or healthcare workers, especially ones that are taking Medicare, Medicaid patients, which is a lot of them, they are now being singled out.
For months, we've watched as workers have rallied, marched, and lashed out at coronavirus vaccines and the possibility of being forced to choose between their opinions and their job.
Mandates have no place in a free society.
Their beliefs now have some very powerful support. The Supreme Court ruling Thursday that the Biden administration cannot require vaccines for most workers without Congress's approval, essentially telling the president to let states make their own decisions.
Florida has a very broad right to as it sees fit, to do whatever it wants, one way or the other. But the federal government, surprisingly, perhaps to some people, has a much more limited power.
But in a separate decision, the court singled out healthcare workers, saying the more narrow rule targeting doctors and nurses can be enforced as long as religious and medical exemptions are respected. So where does that leave Florida's workers? Under state law, most private companies can require vaccines for their employees as long as they respect those exemptions and allow people to opt for weekly testing instead. But some healthcare workers will not have that choice.
Federal law is supreme in this one narrow category. Everywhere else, Florida can feel free to impose its own state laws.
We've heard from both Orlando Health executives and Advent Health executives, both of them telling us they're studying the new ruling and they will be in contact with their staff members, of course, complying with the law. Now, there is a third court case out there still undecided. The Supreme Court is looking at the question of federal contractors and whether they have to face vaccine mandates. Again, that one not decided yet, but it does affect a lot of our people out on the Space Coast. Live in Orlando, Nick Papantonis, WFTV Tonight.